Good morning. All right, I'm Don Irvine, Chairman of Accuracy Media. I usually rarely ever identify myself. I don't know why I do that. All right, Georgia fallout. Still, the Georgia special election from Tuesday night is still rattling through the political world, shaking it up to a degree. The Democrats are trying to figure out what they have to do to win an election. And they thought that Trump, the anti-Trump wave would sweep them and give them a chance to at least win the Georgia race, if nothing else. It's $23 million. They lost again. This has now led all kinds of people to come out and criticize them. I mean, conservatives can analyze it just like the Democrats would analyze any Republican loss, but this has gone further with liberals, both in the media as well as other Democrats, excoriating the Democratic Party for their lack of their strategy, whatever that was. Chris Matthews said, "I don't know what John Ossoff was selling." Chris is definitely no conservative. Representative Seth Moulton from Massachusetts, Democrat, asked said on Twitter he wanted to know what the message was for the Democrats and said that they need to quit rehashing 2016. He's correct on that. I agree with him. Michael Moore, left-wing filmmaker, also harped on where's the message and was very upset that the Democrats blew what many thought was a golden opportunity to send a message back to President Trump. And the only message they managed to send to President Trump is that, hey, you're the president and you keep winning. Hello. Who else? Mika Brzezinski and MSNBC's Morning Joe, as well as Joe Scarborough, talked about what needs to be done. Mika was very critical of, once again, of the message of the Democratic Party, what it was, and criticized Vice Chair Keith Ellison for his remarks about basically playing up that everything is fine. He doubled down on that yesterday by saying that resistance summer is going great. I don't know how you say that when you've got all you do is lose races. You find if the resistance as such is attracting large people at rallies, but as Joe Scarborough pointed out, is that the rallies, what do the rallies do? They're not translating into electoral victories, and they're bringing out it brings out really the same people every single time, right? The people tend to come out to the same rallies over and over and over again. So you have that, and but the voters, the people who actually the people they actually need to be talking to, they're not talking to. Democrats don't have a farm team. Their leadership is a bunch of 70-year-olds, male, female, and they don't know really what's going on anymore. Talk about Nancy Pelosi and what her future is. I think she holds out through the 2018 election, but at that point in time, unless they retake the majority, Democrats would be foolish to keep her in. If you're a Republican or conservative, you say, Nancy, you can stay as long as you want because you're great for the party, Republican Party, that is. President Trump was out in Iowa, rallied his supporters on the heels of all that, of all the Georgia stuff, and took his victory lap as such. The liberals tried to make this a referendum about Trump, but there were liberals that even once the Republicans had won, they said it wasn't a referendum on Trump. So they want to play both sides when they didn't win. But Trump, threw out a couple things about banning immigrants from getting welfare benefits for 5 years. That actually is on the books. Been on the books for 20 years. Not sure that it's been very well enforced, but maybe it will be more enforced, better enforced under Trump. And it wasn't clear whether or not there were going to be any exclusions like for refugees and some other things like the 1996 law. It's a tricky path to go down, but you don't want to create a welfare state, and you definitely don't want to just have immigrants coming in, particularly illegal immigrants, and then keeping them going by putting them on the dole. So we'll have to see how that goes. Trump also floated the idea that the border wall, and I've seen this before, but he reiterated yesterday, lots of sun down on the Mexico-U.S. border, put up solar panels. It'll make it cheaper for Mexico to build the wall. I found that rather amusing because if there's anybody out there that thinks that Mexico is actually going to pay for their wall, I probably have a lot of other things I could sell you that you'd be interested in. Just rummage through my house, I'll find something I think I can sell you, because that's not going to happen. But it's an interesting idea that if you can actually get the panels up there inexpensively, and you find someone who will pay for the generation of that electricity, pay you for the electricity generated, it might actually be a halfway tidy sum, decent sum, excuse me, to do that. But I'd like to see the numbers before I get too involved with that. Sorry about my voice here. This was my third broadcast of the day. Obamacare repeal, been talking about that since the election. Republicans are planning to unveil, maybe as early as today, their Republican alternative. The last time they did this, it was a disaster. They hadn't really thought it out. So they've been working hard to come up with something to keep their own party together. They have to have their votes because the Democrats aren't going to slide over there. So they've got to keep their votes, particularly the Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins. You really don't want to have it so that Vice President Mike Pence has got to break a tie. But it might come to that. It just depends. Republicans are kind of an unruly bunch, and there is some independence in there, and they may not hold together. But hopefully they've worked on this long and hard enough that they can build a consensus. My thing here is that I hope at least we get something that actually will lower the premiums, because I believe that President Obama said something about you're going to save like $2,500. I don't recall. I have not seen that translate to my bottom line. If you have, please let me know. All right, that's about it. Also, stay safe and stay cool. The temperatures are very hot in the southwest and the west. We had there was a 5K race out in Bakersfield. Temperature was 107. They ran it anyway, and one of the racers died after participating in the race. Frankly, I never would have done that if I was a racer. I think that was just too high a risk to do that. The human body can only withstand so much stress and heat, and that is far above the threshold for most people. And I'm surprised we haven't heard more things there. But I haven't looked deeply into it to see how much if other people have suffered from heat stroke and dehydration issues. But they're definitely running a race under 7 degrees temperature is probably not the best thing in the world to be doing. I think you can. There's always another race somewhere, sometime. All right, stay safe, stay cool. We will see you tomorrow and wrap up the week.